Hey guys, Cody here with Mercury Rising Astrology. It's that time of the week again where we go over the astrology for the week ahead. And this week we've got some bold beginnings, we've got a lunar eclipse with some shakeups, and we've got some retrograde action as well. There's a mix of fire, earth, and air this week, so it's all about a little bit of a balancing act. We're going to start off strong, we're going to find some clarity, and we're going to try to navigate the chaos with a little bit of grace if we can. I'll break everything down day by day to give you some insight and some tips into navigating the energy for the week ahead. So grab your coffee, grab your notebook, or just your curiosity, and let's get started. On Monday, March 10th, we've got the moon in Leo trining Mercury, which is still direct, almost going to turn retrograde in Aries in the morning. And then the moon in Leo will sextile Jupiter in Gemini later on in the day. This is bold, this is expressive, it's a nice little, kickstart to the week. The moon will be in Leo all day long, and Leo is ruled by the sun, which is in Pisces, so there's a warm, confident, kind of emotionally sensitive energy for the day. Kind of like you're ready to strut your stuff, but in a way that's, emotionally grounded. In the morning, we'll get the moon trining Mercury in Aries. Mercury's fast and fierce, especially in Aries. There's a boldness to it, and it's being ruled by the Mars in Cancer, so there's this emotionality as well. So your words might pack a punch today, and there might be a need to put in some care or in some thought or some emotional grounding in how you're communicating. Later, the sextile to Jupiter and Gemini from the moon, which is ruled by Mercury. Again, it brings a chatty, expansive vibe, perfect for big ideas, good conversations. Jupiter is in, Gemini. It wants to connect, it wants to learn, it wants to be curious. And the moon is in Leo. It wants to express, it wants to be bold. So they play off each other in a nice way. Today, the trines kind of act like, there's a harmonious flow there. It's like a cosmic high five. And so it's smooth and easy. And sextiles are generically like a gentle nudge, to get moving, an opportunity to act or to take advantage of something. It's a pretty, fluid day, not too many challenges. Fire and air tend to work together. So there might be passionate, might be intellectual, might be social, might be bold. So those are the types of energies for Monday. It's a buzzing kind of energy, a can-do energy. So it's perfect for stepping up and kicking off the week with a good bang, so to speak. With the moon trining Mercury, remember your words will, carry a little bit of an extra spark. And so maybe pitch that idea, call a friend, start a creative project, a writing project of some sort. And later that sextile to Jupiter will, add a social boost. It will be great for brainstorming. It'll be great for, having a beer with your friends and having a lively chat. But Jupiter can tempt us sometimes to overpromise, so make sure to keep it real and keep it grounded in something practical. If you're feeling inspired, say yes to that coffee date, hit publish on that email that you've been waiting to send or that blog that you're trying to, write up. Leo, the moon in Leo is ready to express itself, and today seems like a good day to do it. On Tuesday, March 11th, we've got the moon still in Leo. It's going to square Uranus in Taurus in the afternoon. And Mercury direct still, it hasn't turned retrograde yet, will conjunct Venus retrograde in the sign of Aries. Today, expect the unexpected and be flexible. With the moon still in Leo squaring Uranus midday, there might be a surprise, there might be a shakeup, there might be, random expenses, tech hiccups, events that are happening out of the ordinary that shake up your routine or get you out of your head. With Mercury conjoining Venus retrograde in Aries, think about Mercury is chatty, it wants to talk, and Venus is in this process of rethinking what she wants, what she desires. And they're both ruled by Mars in Cancer. So, past conversations or feelings might resurface that need to be addressed in regards to relationships and I mean that broadly, not just romantic relationships, just relationships in general. The fixed signs, Leo and Taurus, are kind of squaring off. So that can be a little bit stubborn, a little bit, digging your heels in and hard to budge. Leo wants to lead, but Taurus wants to chill. So there's this tension there. So make sure not to be too stubborn. Stay a little bit flexible. It might be a little quirky today on Tuesday, especially with the moon Uranus square. The fixed sign energy, again, makes it tempting to dig in, adapt instead of digging in. Switch gears if you need to, laugh it off, move on. Don't, hold the grudges or dig in your heels to and double down. Mercury and Venus conjuncting in Aries might stir up some old stuff that needs to be addressed. Maybe an ex texts you, or somebody from your past comes back to in some form to communicate with you. And this might be kind of a surprise too with the moon squaring Uranus. This might throw you off a little bit, but don't react fast. If you need to, write it down, think it out, let it sit before you react. It's a good day to stay nimble, stay adaptive, stay flexible. It'll help keep you sane among the any surprises that come up. And I always like to look at Uranus transits as like it's a disruption and it's a surprise, and it might throw you off a little bit, but it can also come as like a wake-up call. Especially in Taurus, Uranus is rattling what might feel solid. These are your habits, money, comfort, your resources. And the moon in Leo has pride. And so what's worth clinging to? What's not worth clinging to? What unexpected jolts are showing up that are cracking open, new possibilities and helping you see things a little bit differently? Where are you a little too stiff in your beliefs or your routines or your relationships? And where might letting go or surrendering allow you to gain a little bit more freedom or flexibility? The tension is a little bit of a opportunity for your chance to grow. On Wednesday, we've got the moon in Virgo. It goes from Leo to Virgo earlier on in the morning. We have the sun conjoining Saturn in Pisces and then applying to a sextile to Uranus in Taurus. So I see this as a time to get focused and to build something. With the moon in Virgo, there is this, focus on the details, the meticulousness, on efficiency, on getting stuff done and kind of putting in the work and refining, things that have come up throughout the week so far. And it's ruled by that Mercury in Aries, so it has the bold courage to go ahead and do that. With the sun conjoining Saturn in Pisces, there's a stern coach in Saturn grounding Pisces' dreamy vibes. It can be a little bit heavy, but it can also be steadying. Pisces can be like off in this dream world and these illusions and these daydreams, and Saturn can be like knock knock, like, hey, come back down to reality. And while that can be sobering, it can also be necessary to ground those lofty kind of spiritual ideals into something more tangible and real. And with the sextile to Uranus from the sun, this is going to lead to maybe some invention or some practical fixes starting to kind of peek through. Conjunctions blend energies, and so with the sun and Saturn blending, it's about structure and soul, especially in the sign of Pisces. And with the moon in Virgo, this is flipping the script from flashy in Leo to functional, and how can we implement this? And Mercury ruling Virgo from Aries is fast, but it's precise, and it's a great time to take that calculated risk that you might have been avoiding. It's a good time to plan your week, fix something that's broken, sort out your desk, deep clean. Again, the sun in Pisces, conjunct Saturn kind of feels like a reality check, but with the moon in Virgo, there's this ability to get serious about your goals and to break them down into small steps and to make a plan to make it work, especially with Saturn being the planet that rewards effort, not shortcuts. And so, lay the foundation today for those changes, and remember that slow and steady is the key. On Thursday, March 13th, the moon is still in Virgo, and we start feeling the eclipse vibes. The actual eclipse, depending on where you are, will happen overnight Thursday into Friday, but we'll definitely start feeling the eclipse energy if we haven't already by Thursday. So on Thursday, the moon in Virgo will square Jupiter in Gemini. The moon will trine Uranus in Taurus, and then it finally opposes the sun, which is also known as a full moon. And the sun is in Pisces, and this will be a lunar eclipse. So there's some clarity perhaps brewing due to the nature of a full moon. The full moon is a time of illumination. However, with it being an eclipse, this is a time of shifts, of radical changes. The foundation beneath your feet may feel a little unsteady. So prior to the eclipse, the moon in Virgo will square Jupiter in Gemini. And if we think about Virgo being super detail oriented and Jupiter being about the big picture, Overthinking is a huge risk with this aspect, especially with the square. There's some tension between the moon in Virgo wanting to have its ducks in a row and focus on the nitty gritty, and Jupiter's in Gemini, its goal is to, get all the facts, all the information, just keep growing. What's the big picture? And so there's some conflict there. And as the lunar eclipse kicks off late on Thursday, it'll oppose the sun in Pisces, and Saturn is near the sun. Remember, the sun is coming off of its conjunction with Saturn, and the sun will trine Uranus in Taurus. These are some big vibes building. So the lunar eclipse is going to be trine to Uranus, and roughly opposite Saturn as well. The trine to Uranus can spark a little bit of a genius. Sudden ideas about work or wellness might hit. With Virgo's sharp focus, it can cut through Pisces haze, and Uranus could add a practical twist coming from Taurus. Think resets in your health, your work, your routines, how you refine yourself, what habits you have. With the eclipse energy creeping in and the moon squaring Jupiter, you might find yourself overanalyzing or overreaching. Virgo wants perfection and Jupiter wants more. So pick one or two priorities to refine and to focus on. Don't spiral. Virgo can spiral. Don't spiral. It's time to declutter. It's time to get clear. It's time to refine. That's what Virgo loves. Toss anything that's expired. Clear your inbox. Journal to free all the thoughts in your mind. Get stuff out. Purge a little bit. Uranus could also bring in this aha moment during this time. You might realize that you need more rest in your schedule, or that you need to, adjust your schedule in ways that fit you better. Act on it. This is time to kind of settle in, because tomorrow on Friday, the eclipse energy will be a little bit stronger. On Friday, March 14th, we've got the lunar eclipse peaking. Depending on where you're at, it'll be early on in the morning. Shortly after the exact opposition to the sun, the moon will oppose Neptune in Pisces before it moves into Libra, where it trines Pluto in Aquarius. All of this while Mercury is slowing down to station retrograde. So this is intense and illuminating. Big changes are unfolding, and it's building. The eclipse peaks early on on Friday, and the moon in Virgo will trine Uranus for breakthroughs. It'll oppose the sun and Neptune, and with Neptune in the mix, there's this dreamy blur. It's going to be an interesting eclipse, because Neptune is illusions and, fantasies and dreams. And after this eclipse, we go to an immediate opposition to Neptune. And so it's whatever clarity or whatever, shifts or insights we've got from the lunar eclipse and the Uranus kind of, energy, it's going to be kind of confusing and probably a little bit unsettling. So give yourself some time to kind of integrate that on Friday. Just Friday, I feel is going to feel like a Monday. I hate to say it like that, but there's this, especially with the opposition to Neptune coming off of a solar eclipse, I could definitely see waking up Friday feeling off, feeling out of it, feeling a little bit groggy, a little bit hazy. So just be kind with yourself on Friday. If you have a 9 to 5, it's Friday and it's almost the weekend, so that's great, but it's giving Monday energy. So be mindful of that. Later on in the day, though, the moon will shift into Libra, where it's ruled by Venus, which is retrograde in Aries, and the moon will trine Pluto. So this is quiet, deep power vibes. And so we might not be ready to quite deal with that, since we're coming off the opposition to Neptune. However, the trine to Pluto suggests a harmonious flow. During all of this, Mercury is inching slower and slower and slower. The retrograde is getting more and more close. It's getting closer. So things might start feeling a little bit glitchy, a little bit hard to communicate, a little bit more difficult to articulate. So be mindful of that. It's not going to be full swing yet, but you might start seeing intimations of that. With the eclipse, Virgo's clarity meets Pisces magic. There's endings in daily life that spark new beginnings. Uranus will add innovation to the mix. Neptune brings a little bit of uncertainty, some intuition, some dreaminess. It's an intense day. So rest and, taking it easy is going to be your best friend. The energy can be heavy, so try not to overdo it. Skip the hustle and bustle. Try to take a breather. If you have a chance to, take a break at work and take a quick cat nap or a meditation session, very helpful today. Water your plants, sip your tea or coffee slowly, spend some time on the front porch and ground. Hold off on any big moves or doing anything, major today. The clarity will be coming, just not today. So take it easy on yourself, take your time. These are some big energies that need to be integrated, and it's going to take a little bit of time. On Saturday, March 15th, we're post-eclipse. We're still feeling the effects more than likely. We've got the moon in Libra opposing Venus retrograde, and Mercury is stationing retrograde in Aries. So the moon in Libra will be opposing both of the planets in Aries that are retrograde, Venus and Mercury. And so words and wants and desires are getting tangled. They're getting rethought. They're getting reconsidered, revised, reviewed. So slow down, especially with the opposition. Take time to, again, integrate the things that have been happening. With the moon in Libra opposing Venus retrograde, think of Libra as seeking calm, seeking balance, seeking harmony. And Venus in Aries is stirring old desires or old tensions, especially in its retrograde nature. We have all of that while, the moon is opposing Mercury retrograde 2, also in Aries. So this is prime for mix-ups, revisiting, people, places, things from the past. And Aries fire makes this a little bit more difficult because it's loud, delays, past promises, or, relationship-oriented themes and what-ifs will pop up and demand some kind of confrontation or action or adjustment. Now that both Mercury and Venus are retrograde, the Aries rush that we might have felt with those planets in Aries is definitely starting to stumble a little bit and kind of back off, especially with Mars still in Cancer. It's like slogging through Cancer. It's direct now, so that's good. But with both planets retrograde in a fire sign and then the ruler of that fire sign in fall in Cancer, it feels like a very sluggish energy, and we're not quite off to the races yet. We've got lots of astrology changes happening this month, and I think with Mercury and Venus both being retrograde and ruled by a fallen Mars, it's going to add, a layer of sluggishness to trying to adapt to all of the big shifts that are happening throughout March. So be mindful of that. Give yourself some time. Think twice before saying something. Check your messages twice before saying something. If your plans derail, just shrug it off, kind of go with the flow. Any old stuff that resurfaces, whether it's a fight or an old fling, don't fix it. Don't try to lock it in. Listen, wait. Just chill. Just chill. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just chill. Sunday, March 16th, the moon is in Libra, and then it's a pretty quiet day, but the moon does square Mars in Cancer. There might be some unsettling feelings in terms of emotional security and home life as the moon in Libra, wants emotional balance and harmony, but then it squares off with, Mars and Cancer, which can bring up emotional confrontations. So just keep it calm today. It might be a little bit moody, it might be a little bit protective. There might be some subtle tensions underneath the surface. With Mars in Cancer, it's in its fall, so it's a little less fiery, more sulky, more somber. So you might grumble over doing chores or say something passive aggressive or under your breath. It's not like an all-out showdown. It's more of an emotional kind of resistance. So there might be some feathers ruffled, maybe somebody's cranky or the vibe just feels off, but, don't stir the pot and don't add to it. Smooth it out. Maybe, cook something, watch a movie, clean the house, kind of take that energy and channel it into something a little bit more productive to try to smooth it out a little bit. Libra's charm helps a little bit here, cozy up the space, light a candle, do some self-care. It's Sunday, get ready for the week. Restore your peace without pushing. Acknowledge any emotional kind of tension or conflicts or any kind of resentment or, passive-aggressive tendencies that come to the surface. Don't push them down and bury them. Just channel them and recognize them and honor them. And don't lash out at other people either. Ultimately, Libra wants harmony, and, you know, peace can mean avoiding the real stuff. So don't gloss over the tension just to keep it easy. Protecting yourself is fine, and it's one thing, but hiding and, you know, closing yourself off isn't balance. It's actually really unhealthy. So try to open up. True connection embraces the messiness of things, and Sunday might offer you an opportunity to look at that and to face that. Overall, it's kind of a warm and soothing day. Let's end the week / start the week kind of nice and easy, regardless of any emotional tension that might come up. Wow, what a week. It is a big week, but I mean, shit is shifting. Like, if you feel like you've been in a rut for a while, which, hey, I have too, a long time, several months. And part of that was Mars retrograde. But Mars is still in Cancer, and it's slowly starting to speed up. And now we got 2 other planets retrograde. We've got this eclipse with the moon opposite Neptune. Like, you know, things are starting to shift, and it may not feel smooth. It might feel bumpy. It might feel a little confusing, but hey, at least stuff is moving. I will take that over feeling stuck, stagnant, and trapped any day. I'd rather take confusing mess than, you know, feeling like nothing's happening. So take the highs, roll with the lows, trust the shifts, trust the process. Ultimately, you know, just take everything step by step, integrate. It's okay if you don't have it all figured out. It's okay if you're rethinking your desires and your relationships and your wants and your needs. It's okay if there's miscommunications in the process. It's okay if you accidentally send that text message and you didn't mean to, or you said something off and it offended somebody. Just own up to it. You know, like, as we go through this process of things that, you know, of shifting and uncertainty, you're gonna fumble sometimes, and you're gonna, you know, drop the ball, and that's part of, you know, being human. But what really matters is how you handle that. You know, like, do you shrug it off? Do you ignore it? Do you become passive aggressive? Do you project and blame the other people? Or do you take accountability and just own it and be like, yeah, I'm trying to be better, and I made a mistake, and I'm figuring stuff out, and it's messy, and that's okay. You know, that's definitely a healthier, I mean, in my opinion, a healthier way to approach it than avoiding it, or putting it off, or shrugging it off onto somebody else, or lashing out at other people. Like, own your shit, you know? This is a great opportunity for you to, this week, you know, it's going to be breaking us out of the mold a little bit. It's going to be bringing in some unexpected things, or some things that maybe were beneath the surface that we were ignoring might get exposed. And it's a true test of your character and who you are as a person, not in necessarily, you know, what is happening to you, or not even necessarily how you act to it, but it's how you, you know, take accountability. It's like, sometimes we can only react to and take action to the best of our ability with what we know. And then if we make a mistake or we make a misstep, then the important part is that we learn from that, and we take accountability, and we acknowledge that. So that's what this week's about. At least things are shifting. It's going to be kind of an interesting week. We've got a lot of stuff happening throughout March and throughout April, May, June. Like, the year is really kicking off. I feel like, you know, if you've been waiting for things to change, this is kind of the time. Things are about to start changing. So anyway, enough rambling. Until next time, you guys, I plan on doing some more videos with some transit deep dives, and of course the week ahead forecast. Keep an eye out for that. Comment below on how you feel like the week will pan out for you, and like this channel and subscribe if you want more astrological content. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.